Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Coates. I'd like to thank you for joining us for this online open house and the live question and answer session. We're going to give it a few seconds here. There's still some people populating in some of the, as it populates, then we'll begin the presentation. So I'll give it just another 30 seconds or so here, and then we'll get started. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us for the virtual open house and the live question and answer session. My name is Brandon Coates. During this online session, MDT and the project team is going to provide an overview of the project, talking about the planned construction activities. Following the presentation, we will have a live question and answer session. In order to participate in that Q&A session, you can find the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Click on that. It'll pop up a box that you can type in questions, and you can feel free to ask those questions throughout the presentation. We will hold them all till the end, and then we will answer them live. So this session, and along with the one that we will be hosting tonight at 6 p.m., will be recorded, and we'll put a copy of the recording onto the project website. We'd like you to invite your neighbors, coworkers, and friends that couldn't attend to view the presentation and by visiting the project website. Along with the recorded presentation, you'll also find a copy of the presentation slides and a fact sheet and a postcard that was sent out. So all of that information will be on the project website, which will show that address at the end of this presentation as well. So at this time, I'd like to turn over the mic to Gino Leva from MDT to do introductions. Gino?
Thanks, Brandon. Hello, my name is Gino Leva, and I am the Butte District Construction Engineer for the Montana Department of Transportation. I would like to welcome everybody and thank you for attending this open house for the Quinn Creek Road Bridges project. And I would like to take this time to introduce our project team, starting with Dave Cunningham.
I am Dave Cunningham. I am the District Construction Operations Engineer for the Montana Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Dave. Paul Cogley.
Hello, my name is Paul Cogley, and I'll be the Engineering Project Manager for the contract.
Zach Zupan.
Hi, this is Zach Zupan. I'll be the Project Manager for Slant Construction, who is the general contractor for this project.
Brandon Coates.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Brandon Coates with RBCI. We are doing the public outreach, public involvement on the project, so I'll be the main point of contact throughout construction. We'll be sending out information and updates. We'll have some more information about that in the slides later. Thank you.
And Kate Wallace.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Kate Wallace with RBCI, and I'm helping Brandon out today with the live Q&A. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. That's our project team. So I'll turn it over to Paul Cogley.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of what this construction project entails. I imagine that most of you are probably residents in the Quinn Creek drainage up there. And for those of you who aren't, you can kind of bear with me, but I'm kind of focused on that. These two bridges at Quinn Creek were built in 1979 and have outlasted their useful lifespan. Some of you may have noticed the salt and deterioration on the bridge ends or on the beam ends over some of those piers. Because of this, we're going to be replacing these bridges, and we are going to focus on trying to minimize inconvenience while we do it. Part of that is we're going to do an accelerated bridge methodology here, so that'll be something interesting. This is a tough location, as you guys know. There's a lot of snow up here. It's steep grade on these bridges, so there are some challenges, but we're confident that we're going to be able to get them installed without having any issues. And we've got procedures and plans to mitigate those challenges. So when the project is done, you're not going to see a big change at this area. The project also includes some road work on the bridge ends, but essentially the grade of the road will remain the same. Underneath the bridge, you might notice that the new bridges will be a single span bridge instead of the 3-span bridges that are there now. That'll kind of open up underneath. However, like I said, the grade remains the same, so it'll be very similar. One other difference that you might notice is we're going to have steel beams for the new bridges, whereas the old bridges were concrete girders. If you would move ahead to the next slide, Brandon. Here you can kind of see that MDT does routine inspection of all of our bridges online. And these 2 bridges have been on our radar for some time. It was about 2020. We decided that we were to that point where the bridges now needed to be replaced. These bridges are still safe. We want to emphasize that. And we don't have any concerns about them for the lifespan of this project. Again, we're going to try and accelerate the project to minimize the inconvenience to those folks that are out there. What this means, or what that entails, is you're going to see a new bridge built off alignment. So at one point there may be 3 bridges out there, and you'll wonder what the heck's going on. But one of the bridges is going to be built in the median, and that bridge deck, along with the beams, will slide over onto the eastbound new bridge foundations once we get those built. And that helps us minimize the time it takes in order to complete the structures. And that the biggest reason is we would need to get them done before the winter. Obviously, we don't want to have construction out there over the winter season. So with that, I'll pass it on to the next participant.
Hello, everybody. This is Zach Zupan with Sletton Construction. I'll be the project manager managing the construction side, or the construction efforts on this project. A little bit on what to expect during construction on I-90. We'll go out there. We're planning to start May 9th. The weather isn't looking very favorable for that start date, but we'll do everything we can to hold to that start date or start shortly after. And what we'll start with is building the crossovers east and west of the existing structures along Interstate 90. And during that phase of construction, we'll push traffic out of the passing lane into the driving lane. So there'll be one lane in both the eastbound and westbound sides of I-90. We'll build those crossovers as fast as we can. Once those are constructed, we will cross over traffic. So there'll be head-to-head traffic in the eastbound lanes first. So that's single lane traffic headed both westbound and eastbound. And then once we finish construction on the westbound structure, we'll switch traffic to the westbound lanes, head-to-head traffic, eastbound and westbound, while we demo the eastbound structure and slide the new eastbound structure into place and tidy up the roadway. And then we will close the crossovers and reestablish 2 lanes of traffic in both the eastbound and westbound lanes. During these phases of construction on I-90, we will have reduced speed limits through the construction zone, which will be relatively short. I believe it's less than a mile difference from one crossover, distance from one crossover to the next. And the speed limit will be reduced through there both for the safety of the traffic and the safety of our workers we'll have out there. So I ask that all of the traveling public adhere to those reduced crossover, those posted speed limits at the crossover locations. What to expect on Quinn Creek Road during construction. So we will be constructing both these bridges over Quinn Creek Road. We're doing our best to plan work to not impact Quinn Creek Road, to impact it as little as possible. At this time, we don't foresee any overnight closures or day closures of Quinn Creek Road. We will have some temporary delays for some of the phases of construction, and that would be things like bridge demo, girder erection when we're setting the new girders over Quinn Creek Road, and then when we're pouring the concrete deck in place. And those would be just minor delays, nothing over 30 minutes. And we'd coordinate closely with both Brandon on that and Paul at MDT to ensure there's no scheduled services that need to get through that road during those short-term closures. With that, I'll pass it on to. That's about all I have on the Quinn Creek Road.
Thank you, Zach.
Yep.
So during construction, keeping everybody informed is a high priority for MDT, and that's where I come in and our team. So we'll continue to provide updates about the traffic impacts or construction activities as they change. We do have a few different methods for getting the word out. We do have mailers that we can send out. We'll also be using the local newspapers and news media, as well as social media. But email and text updates are a good way for us to get out information a little bit quicker. And you can sign up for either an email update or a text update. And to sign up for the email updates, you text Quinn to 42828. And I do want to note that right now, this 42828 number is having technical difficulties, and the service that we're using to provide those emails is working on it to get that changed. So those should be available before construction begins. But you can sign up for the text updates. That number is working. And if you want to sign up for text and then later on sign up for the emails, you can also email me your email and we can sign you up manually. And my email will be shared on the next slide. So with that, we're going to conclude the presentation portion, and I'd like to thank you for participating. Please join us on the project website for more information about the project. We do update the project website. There's a construction updates slide there, and we will post the information from this meeting along with our project updates there as well. So again, my name is Brandon Coates. I'm the Public Involvement Manager for RBCI, and you can reach me by email or phone, and our information is there. So I think we've been receiving some questions coming in. So I think now I'm going to maybe turn it over to Kate, see if we can answer some of those questions, and feel free to continue to ask questions as we move forward here. So.
Yes, perfect. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, we do have several questions coming in. One of the first questions is from Margaret, and she asks, is the slide presentation going to be shared? And I think you're going to answer that one.
Yes, we are. We will share the slide deck. It will be on the project website, and that link is here under the public involvement and public meetings tab there.
Perfect. Thank you. We have another question from Timothy, and he said the road between the frontage road and the railroad tracks is in a constant washboard condition. Is there any chance of an improvement here? And it looks like Paul's going to answer that question.
Sure, yeah, the county road, Quinn Creek Road, we don't have any scheduled improvements for that road. We will maintain it while we're working there in that area. We'll be bladed before we leave again. But as far as future use, I assume that those washboards will eventually come back. So unfortunately, no, there are no planned improvements for the surfacing on Quinn Creek Road.
Great, thank you. Another one for you, Paul. Kaya asked, for the residents of the private Quinn Creek Road, this is their only way in and out. In case of an emergency or an evacuation, we are emergency personnel must have a way to get in and out at all times. Can you just talk about how that access is going to work?
Absolutely. And this is a great question. And this is kind of why we're having the meeting, is to alleviate some of those fears. If there's an emergency or an evacuation, our project will shut down and we'll get out of the way, and there will be zero delay in order to get in and out of Quinn Creek. Same for emergency vehicles. I saw that was another question. If there are lights and sirens, if there's an emergency situation, they will not be delayed, and we will hold other traffic up so that emergency vehicles can get around. And you know, the delay is going to be a term of seconds, not in terms of minutes or hours.
Great, thank you. We have another question from Steve, and he asked, for short closures, you should consider waiting for a train closure and get both done at the same time when possible. Zach, I think you were going to answer that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think there are a lot of trains that go through here, and I think that's a great idea. We'll definitely try and do that. I think these short-term closures are going to be so short and so infrequent that'll hopefully nobody will even notice that they're happening. So right now I can think of 2 instances that we'll have to do this for a period of maybe 4 hours off and on. So yep, I hope it's infrequent enough that nobody even notices they're happening, but good idea, Steve. We'll try and do that.
Great, thank you. We have another question for you, Zach, from Maggie, and she just asked, with the increased number of heavy machinery, people on the project, will there be any issue having additional fire suppression on site if something sparks? And what will the hours of construction be each day?
Good question again, Maggie. We do have we'll have a water truck on site for our construction purposes, and depending on the time of year, we monitor the level of fire risk on our site, and we'll implement things like a fire watch where we'll designate personnel just to stand by and watch for sparks and fire and things like that. But we always have means for fire suppression on site, and we will ramp up those means if the time of year calls for it. So yep, we try and mitigate all fire risks through those methods. And what was the second part of?
The second part was just your hours of operation during construction.
Yep. Right now we're looking at working Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
It looks like
I guess I should add to that work schedule, those hours could increase or decrease depending on how we're holding to the construction schedule. And may include possibly Saturdays and hopefully not Sundays, but like Mr. Cogley said, we are doing everything we can to get this project completed by winter, and to do that it does require working some extended hours.
great, thank you.
You bet.
Looks like That was our last question. If anyone else has any other questions, we'll wait for a few minutes and see. Excuse me. We do have another question from Margaret. Will there be one lane traffic 24/7 during the project? And Zach, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. Yes. In short, there will be 24/7 access. Besides those short-term closures that will be less than 30 minutes at a time. But at this point, we don't anticipate having to close Quinn Creek Road down. With that, you must understand that plans do change depending on how work progresses. But right now, currently, we do not anticipate closing Quinn Creek Road for an extended period of time.
I'd like to tack on to that. When it's not necessary to have it single laned at Quinn Creek Road, we will try and move equipment and machinery off to the side so that we can get two-way traffic on Quinn Creek. So that you may see that at times on and off during the project.
Great, thank you. We haven't received any more questions. If anyone else has anything, please let us know. We'll wait just a few more minutes. We might have a couple more here. We have one from Sheena. It says, will this affect traffic on Bozeman Hill Road?
I can take that. This is Zach with Sletton.
Great.
Yes, there will be times where the frontage road will be impacted. Again, I hope that it's short for our sake and for the traveling public's sake, but please just adhere to the temporary traffic control signs and reduce speed limits and use caution going through that. We don't anticipate a lot of traffic control on the frontage road. And I guess I'm assuming that the frontage road is that Bozeman Hill Road, but Highway 10, I believe it's listed as. So to answer the question, yes, there will be some, but very minimal.
Great, thank you. Zach, sorry, you're going to get another question. I think Margaret's question earlier was, will the interstate be one lane in the head-to-head 24/7?
Yes, that will be, it will be temporary, of course, during the construction of the bridge, but once traffic is crossed over, both first in the eastbound lanes and then in the westbound lanes, it will be 24/7 head-to-head traffic.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions?
I think while we wait here for a couple of minutes, in case there's any more questions coming in, I do want to let everybody know that we will be hosting this same presentation tonight at 6 o'clock. So if you have any friends or family members that didn't join us today and you want to invite them, let them know. They can go to the website and sign up just the same way that you did. And we'll present this information again and answer questions as needed. So. And to piggyback on that too, if you have questions at any time during construction, please reach out to me, my email there, or the phone, and just get a hold of me. I'll get in touch with Zach or Paul or whoever needs to be contacted, and we'll get information back out to you. So we'll be providing those updates throughout construction, especially when there's major changes or any kind of impacts that we can be alerted of ahead of time. So again, my information's there, and it's also going to be on the project website. Doesn't look like we have any other questions coming in, so probably look to end the presentation here. So thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to communicating with you and throughout the project. Thank you. Oh, one more question just came in.
I was just gonna say, that's to you, Brandon. So will you give updates to the residents in the area?
Yes, yes. So you can sign up to get email updates, text updates. We're also going to be posting stuff on social media. I know the residents up there, there's a Facebook page that a lot of folks get information from. So we're going to try to get information to that Facebook page as well. But the best way would be to sign up for the email updates. The text updates, of course, are going to be shorter, and they will include a link into them that will take you to the email update as well. So, but yes, we will continue to provide those updates throughout construction.
You know, one other thing I'd like to touch on real quick is the mailboxes for the Quinn Creek area are going to be moved to the other side of Quinn Creek so that they're out of the way. So you might notice them coming down, but don't fret. We're talking to the Postal Service, and we're just going to move them to the other side of Quinn Creek, out of the way, and you can get your mail there.
Thank you. Brandon, I know you said it, but there was one more question about where they sign up for updates.
Yeah, so Sheena, you can just email me and I can sign you up. And my email is Brandon, BRANDON @rbci.net, and I'll sign you up for those updates. You can also text to sign up for updates, and I have that information on the page here now. The 42828 number for receiving the email updates is not working currently. We're assured it's going to be working soon before construction begins, but if you just want to email me, I'll get you signed up. All right. And like I said, email me at any time with other questions and we'll get those answered too. So appreciate everyone's time today for joining us, and we will talk to you later.